Thank you for tuning in to another segment of Outside the Box. I am your host, Onney, the CEO, and today I have a flaming segment. We're talking about the game and how the hustle is sold separately. So I need you guys to buckle up your seatbelts because you're now plugged in, tuned in, tapped in to Outside the Box. It's so good to have you all back. I want to welcome any new watchers or listeners that are tuned in and tapped in today. Today I have a dear friend of mine, and he is an amazing talent. He's been in this music industry for quite some time. We've done a few little collaborations that we haven't put out yet. But I want you guys to give it up for Rags.
Hey, how y'all doing? What's the deal?
Yeah, thank you for coming on the show.
Nah, thank you for having me.
Man, so I know all about you. But I want our watchers and our listeners to know more about you. So can you tell them what it is that you do?
Okay, well, first of all, my name is Rags, and I'm an entertainer, but also I'm just a realist, you know what I'm saying? I feel like, through my music, I use it as a platform to just bring awareness to life's ill. Like, even before the world was what it is right now, that's always been my motive, you know what I'm saying? A poet of some sort. So
and conscious. You're a storyteller that, people can relate to. So I felt like right now this is a day and time where people really should familiarize themselves with who you are. If they haven't heard of you or don't know who you are, this is a great time for them to figure it out.
That's true.
I definitely wanted to bring you on so that you can come and be outside the box with the rest of us.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So how long have you been doing music? Because when I met you, you was doing music. So
man, I've been doing music since I was a kid. How I really got started, it's a crazy story, but so basically, like, I was in elementary school. I was selling candy and just saving money. In between saving money, my grandma would send me these savings bonds, and I had accumulated somewhere along like the lines of $700 to $800. And one day I came home and my money in my shoebox was just gone. My mother and my father had gotten into it. Long story short, he stormed off, burned off, and didn't come back for it seemed like 30 days, but it probably wasn't that long. My perception of time was different, but long story short, my father came back with studio equipment, and I've been rapping ever since. Like, I fell in love with music that year.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, when he stole my money, I was mad. I was like, I'm asking my mama, she's like, that's your daddy, baby, that.
Yeah, but he didn't steal it. He just invested it for you.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's what it was.
He took your choice away, but it actually turned out to your benefit.
Yeah, exactly.
Because maybe you just didn't know what to do with it, and he saw something
in
you that
plans
needed to be nurtured.
You know what I'm saying? So, he kind of just forced me to, come out of my shell and do it for real. Because we had already been dabbling. Yeah. Tony G, what's up, man?
Yeah, shout out to him, man. I met him. I know him. I can't act like I don't. So shout out to Tony.
Yeah, 100.
Yeah, so you actually did a video, a song, and it's amazing. It shout out Houston, and I saw some landmarks.
Yeah, Ball Like Hardin.
Can you tell me a little bit about that and how did you came about the whole idea?
When Ball Like Hardin came out, at first I just heard the beat. You know what I'm saying? I was sitting there and I just heard the beat, and in a matter of like 5-10 minutes, I just started Ball Like Hardin, Ball Like Hardin. I'm already a Rockets fan. You can go back and do the research. I've been a Rockets fan, but this beat just spoke to me. And we had Harden on the team. This was maybe 3 years ago. And that year we ended up going all the way to the finals and losing Game 7.
Okay.
But when I heard the song, I didn't own the beat. I had somebody make the beat. Within a matter of 7 days, we made the beat, shot the video. I started just promoting the song right in front of the Toyota Center when people would come out the game, and I got an interview on channel 13, 39.
I saw you all over the news.
Yeah, so that's kind of how it just started kind of taking off. But people still been like, man, have you gotten the song to Harden yet? Has Harden heard the song? I'm like, nah, Harden ain't heard it yet. They were like, man, James Harden need to hear the song,
Well, anybody's listening or watching, y'all need to send this segment to James Hardin.
Man, please
We finna let you
man.
take a look at this video.
I just want him to add it to his playlist. Like, he don't even gotta, blow it up or nothing. I just
well,
want
we
him to
want to hear it too. Come on.
Yeah.
Let's see what we got.
Pardon me, I know the wait was long. Clock is ticking, time to take the throne. Flow beat fly like when B.I. was the K-I-N-G or N-Y. Look, I am to the dirty, what Pop was to the yay. They don't know it yet, but they gon' respect. This Houston Rocket might put up 80. I'm dedicating this tune to the teachers who said I was slow. Like screw tapes remembered in June. I'm the blue bonnet that bloomed in the middle of winter, the opposite of a winter. I never thought it would happen this rapid. In the state of hip-hop, when stirring the pot with that trash D, they ain't trapping. Each time I sit at Beyonce's, Malaya Michelle's everywhere, but guess what? Everything ain't pretty, we taking no L's, we winning. Players, gangsters, hustlers, huddled up like what's the play? My whole team, they with us. We out here trying to ball like Hardin. Shame up at me, Hardin. Boy trying to ball like Hardin. Where I'm from, Toyota, the state with a garden. Boy trying to ball like Hardin. Ace time I beg your pardon, that's where I'm from. Hey, once upon a time, he wasn't talking money, so I told her leave me alone. He got the on, I went back to my zone. The end, don't you love how that story go? It's so many different scenarios. I guess it depends on the video. Me, I keep it stiff like a hard, but they be stitching like there you go. Hey, I'm from where the rats get whacked for the cheddar. More than bike parts get pedal. Cash rule everything around me. I'm an underground king, Pimp C, Wu-Tang, Wakanda forever. Look shorty, thick and shorty dime. She might make my starting five, depending on how she roll that, then low that 45. Cause I promised mama I would be a star. No, I broke her heart when I broke the law. Some new married to the gang, some new son and laws where they drip candy down the MLK Boulevard. Each time I sit at Beyonce's, Malaya Michelle's everywhere, but guess what? Everything ain't pretty, we taking no L's, we winning. Players, gangsters, hustlers, huddled up like what's the play? My whole team, they with us. We out here trying to ball like Hardin. Shame up at me, Hardin. Boy tryna ball like Hardin. Where I'm from, Toyota, the state with a garden. Boy tryna ball like Hardin. Ace time I beg your pardon, that's where I'm from. Alright, go look at your 84s. I blue Navy say they those. Sunday I don't say these hoes. That's your girl about me. Look out you when my mama and them hear me on the radio. I know my daddy, he can't wait to tell a word about me. See, I'm from where they rap a lot, pack together a lot. Drip salt, bank screw, they do that a lot. Get it from the mud, only way is up, coming from the bottom. We just tryna make it to the top. Hey, picture me, Italy, counting blessings. Come a long way from home, literally, house arrested. Yeah, shorty thick and shorty dime. She might make my starting five, depending on how she roll that, then load that 45. Cause I promised mama I would be a star. No, I broke her heart when I broke the law. Some new married to the gang, some new son and laws where they drip candy down the MLK Boulevard. Each time I sit at Beyonce's, Malaya Michelle's everywhere, but guess what? Everything ain't pretty, we taking no L's, we winning. Players, gangsters, hustlers, huddled up like what's the play? My whole team, they with us. We out here trying to ball like Hardin. Shame up at me, Hardin. Boy trying to ball like Hardin. Where I'm from, Toyota, the state with a garden. Boy trying to ball like Hardin. Ace time I beg your pardon, that's where I'm from. Yeah. And you ain't gotta be from that ace, man. Any player from anywhere can respect another player, man. You know what I'm saying? Teamwork make the dream work, man. Paul, Ariza, Gordon, Pella. You know what I'm saying? From the Trey to the Park, from the Sunny to the Clark, Studio to the Bloody Nickel, man. All the hoods in between, man. On the inside, man. 8 times going down, baby.
That's some heat.
Thank you.
And you sitting in the studio all laid back and chilled and soft spoken, and then you came out dropping bars.
Yeah, that's me, man. People say I transform, like when it's time to do music, but I really am like laid back. And somebody kind of put it in a better perspective for me the other day, because I was like, man, I'm really shy. They like, you're not shy. When somebody has something to say, you got something to say back. You just quiet, you know what I'm saying? So
Right.
I'm more observant than anything, but
Yeah.
when I'm passionate about something, whatever it is, music or whatever, I'm gonna give
And
it
I
my
see
all.
you had Mom's Miss Hassian in the
Yeah.
video. Shout out.
Yeah, my mother,
She was shooting up that H-Town.
my mother been supportive. All my family, Chastity, I was trying to get you in the video.
Right.
You know
I
what
was
I'm
booked
saying?
that day, so
I was trying to get you in the video, but I ended up getting this lady, Chastity, with Vin Game Modeling. I ended up signing to her modeling company. It's an agency for acting, talent, all kind of different stuff. But she ended up pulling up for me, so it was a blessing, you know.
Now, once you started making like headway with your career, because it was at one point in time, especially when you were consistently living in Houston, you were getting booked pretty frequently. How did that change the course of your decisions?
As far as getting booked,
Just know, as far as how you dealt with people, life, general, like how did you change? Did you change the way you moved at all once you started noticing your growth?
yeah, I did. I noticed a lot of, lack of follow through with some people in the industry, and so I had to just make decisions based off discernment rather than just, oh, that's shiny, or you know what I'm saying, oh, that looks good, let's do it, blah blah blah. But and it kind of just led me in the path of seeing more results versus just spinning my wheels. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because a lot of people promise you stuff on a daily basis, but it don't necessarily be what they say. So you got to down there do research and dissect what they saying and go,
Right.
go back and see if it's legit or not.
And then you had those cases where sometimes people legitimately mean well when they promise you something, but then life happens in their life to where
true.
they can't live up to that promise, and it happens.
That's true. I never got, but I learned also to, take my emotions out of it, because it's business, at the end of the day, like how somebody runs their business is not personal.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I can't take it personal, but I just got to keep moving in that direction and hope they don't take it personal, because I'm going to keep moving, and that's how I ended up in New York.
Yeah, I always ask, people that come on the show that decides to live outside the box and chase their dreams about their support team. Did you have a support team when you started?
I absolutely had a support team. People that I least likely expected became my support team, just people from my neighborhood. Of course, my mother, my sister, my father. Indirectly, they supported me in different ways. My community,
Right.
I'm from Third Ward. It's a lot of people from Sunnyside that I'm close with, and just Houston in general.
Yeah.
But I had a support team, people that just did different stuff, whether it's show up to my show or, buy an album or, download and stream, stuff
Now,
like
I
that.
hear also a lot of people, they always talk about, it doesn't matter what city you go to. Some people say it's just Houston. Some people say, oh, it's like that in L.A. When you decided to venture off, how were you received in different cities as opposed to how you were received in Houston? Was the support, was it a big variance in your support there?
Shout out to New York, man. New York, they treat me like my second home. You know what I'm saying? Cultural Bastards, AB, my boy Fred, that's my production team. I went out there, I met a guy named Jamal on a yacht, like 2 years prior to me going to New York. And by word of mouth, he told a friend about me. 2 years later, that friend reached out to me because I rapped on a beat that he had used and was trying to get the sample clear to. Actually, we're about to release that this week. It's called Angels in the Cloud.
Okay.
So it's like you plant seeds, and then 3 years later, here we are 3 years later, and that song is about to come out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, now speaking of going to New York, you kind of, well, I know the story, but of course, they don't know the story. When you decided to move to New York, it was like an instinctual nudge that you just was willing to risk it all.
Man.
Can you tell us about that? Because this is like really living outside the box, literally.
Man.
So can you give us a little insight on that story?
Absolutely. I believe, man, listen, everything comes to the light, so what's the point of a secret? You know what I'm saying? Like,
okay.
I was thugging, man. Like I was living what we call getting out the mud. But basically, these guys, the same production team I'm telling you about, invited me to New York. They were like, if you can get down here, then everything else, is gonna be on us. We'll produce your album. That album ended up turning into a 2-album movie deal, which is on the table right now. But the process was, I was working at Dr. Pepper. You know what I'm saying? I ended up getting fired for Dr. Pepper. That's a whole nother story. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
but,
we all got a struggle. That's what makes us.
You know what I'm saying? But long story short, somebody was jealous of me, and I got into it. I got fired behind a woman that wasn't even mine. You know what I'm saying?
Man, that's crazy. Okay.
And but it was a blessing. You know, I was mad about it at first, but it was a blessing because it gave me the leeway to just like, you know what, I'm gonna just go to New York, and I got the invitation. Now I just got to get down there. So I know you said it ain't sensitive, but I still like it's just certain stuff I gotta for just for other people's sake. You know what I'm saying?
I get it.
If y'all ever seen the movie Hustle and Flow, I met these dancers that basically like they helped me. They helped fund me to get to New York. You know what I'm saying? It was like a mutual thing. You know, our protection, look out for them and make sure that nobody harmed them while they were doing what they were doing. And those things like that basically funded my trip to New York. You know what I'm saying? And when I got down to New York, you know, we were still doing the hustle and flow thing is what I'm gonna call it.
Okay.
And we were both living in a car, me and this dancer, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, wow. Okay.
While I was engaged to a woman, and my woman knew about everything. It was not a secret, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's a true story. You know what I'm saying? But it's only so much I could say, you know what I'm saying? We were hustling though, basically, you know what I'm saying? And it was grimy. It wasn't, every day was not pretty, you know what I'm saying? I got footage. Like, we started documenting because it's like, man, we really out here trying to live in New York, the biggest city that they say is the hardest to live in.
It's very expensive to live out there too.
You know, yeah, it is.
So now you're back in Houston. So how's that coming back from New York? From
well,
kind of like
I came back through happenstance. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of things happened where I needed to come back. I needed to check on my family. You know what I'm saying? I had situations that I needed to check on and resolve. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I came back. I didn't even plan to come back permanently. I actually lost my ID like 3 weeks ago.
Okay, so you just here until you get your ID back, and you be traveling back and forth.
Yeah, absolutely. But while I was in New York, you know, I was living in my car for a while. You know what I'm saying? It was days where, you know, I was making ramen noodle, top ramen in the car, you know what I'm saying? Just pulling up to the gas station and putting that water in that cup, you know, watching that soup blow up, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But as the time, and it wasn't because I had to, let me say that. The second week I got down there, somebody tried to sign me just off of one bar, like one verse, excuse me. You know, a guy was like, man, where you stay at? I was like, shit, in my car.
Yeah.
He was like, you stay in your car? Man, I'll get you a apartment right now, I'll pay the bill, blah, blah, blah. I'm with, I'm not gonna say the record label.
Yeah.
But, you know what I'm saying? It's a big record label, you know what I'm saying? You got some big names on it. But I already knew when I went down there with the motive of coming out to where my family could eat. It ain't even about me. If it was about me, I'd just be rapping for free because I love it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But it's at the time where even my mom was like, you need to get paid for that. You know
and
what I'm
I
saying?
thank you for your transparency, because sometimes we have people, you know, for most part, we have people that come on the show and they talk about their journey, but they don't always talk about the most vulnerable parts of the journey, which people need to know it's not always pretty, you know.
Absolutely.
And, you know, this segment is basically entitled "The Hustle is Sold Separately," because, you know, we can grind or we can dream all day, but the hustle is sold separately. And sometimes it comes with, you know, major sacrifice, but in that sacrifice, you get a big reward because you can step outside of yourself and say, this is what I did for me.
Absolutely.
So what advice could you give somebody now that you've learned a lot of lessons and you've seen a lot of things? What advice could you give somebody that's looking to venture off into music?
Partly exactly what you just said. Don't be ashamed. You know what I'm saying? Like, make your test a testimony for real, and don't be ashamed of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was looking at we started documenting stuff. I'm like, I'm sitting in this car about to make a soup with some water that I got. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not no regular dude. Like, I'll be looking at myself, like, not to toot my own horn, but I'm like, I know everybody can't do it. You know, even my fiance at the time, she was like, I can't believe you had the gall to just go out there like that. You know what I'm saying? I literally bought a new car the same day that I lost my job at Dr. Pepper. So I got a car note over my head, and I'm still trying to get to New York, and I'm still trying to be the man in the situation and provide for the people around me. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I'm just like, I ain't no ordinary homeless person. Like, I'm sleeping in a Mercedes Benz. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
I got
right,
a TV, and people like, I don't know how you do it.
Yeah,
but
I don't either.
But I was I've slept in a jail cell for 24 hours a day. Like, I was in lockdown, you understand? And so, you know, it's people on that side that wish they could sleep in the Mercedes Benz.
Do you think
or just
that
sleep under
that part of your life, like
bridge.
when you, because we didn't touch upon that, the fact that you were incarcerated, did you
Mhm.
think that prepared you for
Absolutely,
having to walk through this journey? Because when you're incarcerated, it's like you can adapt.
man.
You learn how to adapt quick, and so once you get out into the world to have to do without, it's like, man, I done.
It's nothing.
Yeah, it's nothing. I can do this on my
They
head.
say once you take everything away from somebody, there's nothing that you can do to them, and I really feel that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's nothing.
For sure.
You know,
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie, the stuff that's been happening lately been a touchy subject, you know,
Yeah.
but I feel like I'm built for it. I'm prepared for
It's
it.
very triggering.
And, I'm just using the ills of my situations in the past to get through and see how I'm going to be strategic about it, because it's not nothing new. It's just shining
Sounding right.
a light on it.
So, who are some of the artists that you had a chance to work with? Because I know you travel in New York. You're working with people. You have
Yeah.
people in H-Town that you're working
Absolutely.
with.
I think one of the most influential people that I've ever encountered, and I'm saying that lightly, encounter, but because I didn't realize how influential it was till I got older. But a lot of people don't know I grew up with Beyonce.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is a fact. You can go back and check rap fact. But
Yeah.
my mother and Beyonce were great friends. My mother and Tina Knowles were great friends when I was growing up. Like, Tina was in my hospital room when I was born.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So I didn't realize till I got older. I'm like, damn, where did I get this not quitting attitude? But
Yeah.
I just remember back when Matthew used to have Beyonce and
Man, running around the bayou
the
and
bayou,
hills,
all that. But
singing all
I
day.
was there for that. Like, you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? I was there, and I subconsciously, I feel like I picked up that work ethic to where nothing can stop me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna keep going, and blah blah blah. So, even though me and Beyonce haven't worked together, I think that was one of my subconsciously most influential, artists that I ever encountered. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Secondly, would have to be Scarface, because I'm a fan of Scarface. You know what I'm saying? We had a song together that he didn't even know about. Apparently, the producer had just taken his verse and passed it up. You know what I'm saying? So when I met him, I was like, hey, how you feel about the verse I put on that song? He was like, what song? You know,
Yeah.
he didn't know what I was talking about.
Shout out to
you know what I'm saying?
Scarface.
Yeah, shout out to Scarface.
Yeah, I hope he's
Brother
doing
Mark.
well. Yeah.
Absolutely. Fighting that COVID. But, he didn't know about the song, but he took the time out of his day to just, after he heard my verse, he sat down and chopped it up. And he was like in a hurry at first. But when he heard my verse, he sat down, took the time and chopped it up with me. We talked about everything from growing old and just retiring with land, because his grandma had just passed. She was like 80. He was like, she left me all this land. He was like, man, I just want a break. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I feel what he's saying, but I'm far from wanting to break. Like, right now, I feel like the rap Nat Turner. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm gonna be real, but yeah, that guy was influential. It's other artists, Calvin Wayne, Ingrid. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I was
from
waiting
the
on
city.
Ingrid. I knew she was coming.
Yeah, that's family.
That's
man.
the ace right there.
Man, that's
Yeah.
like my sister. You know what I'm saying? And she signed to Beyonce, so
Yeah.
it's full circle. You know.
All in the family. All in the family. So tell us, where we can stay up on you, your Instagram.
My Instagram is Rags Raps, RAGS, my YouTube, go follow my YouTube. But mainly, man, I'm trying to feed my family, so go follow my Spotify account, because that's where that bread be coming in. You know what I'm
from.
saying?
Yeah, those viewers. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Spotify, YouTube, all those avenues. My website is www.ragsraps.com. I need to get a landing page on there, but y'all can go there and check out some music too. But
Yeah.
well, go ahead. I don't
No,
wanna
you
take over
good. You
everything.
good. You good.
I got music coming out too, though, that I don't have a link for yet. But just follow my Instagram and you'll stay in tune with everything I'm doing, because that's like my platform right now until, I get a landing page on my website.
You so laid back.
Am I?
Yeah, you just so
I
cool.
be feeling. People think I'm cool. I be feeling nervous. I be like,
Hey,
man.
you ain't gotta be nervous. You rags.
I feel like
man. Come
Eminem,
on.
man, when he say on the surface he looks calm and ready, man, but I'm always like,
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's all good. Well, I
Thank
want to personally thank you for coming on the
Appreciate
show, sharing, some intimate facts about your journey.
Absolutely.
Most people, when they see where you are,
Mhm.
they can't conceive where you came from.
Mhm.
You know, and I just think that being outside the box and being transparent about being outside the box allow
Mhm.
the world to see us differently.
Mhm.
You know, beyond the perception, because
Mhm.
you know, perception that's
Yeah.
trickery. You know,
Exactly.
it's
Yeah.
smoke and mirrors.
Exactly.
But when we can sit and we can share our story openly, you know, when we share our truth,
I appreciate the platform.
We keep our power. You know,
Yeah, you
because
true.
can't nobody hurt you with
When
your
you
own
control the
truth.
narrative, yeah, you control the narrative.
You control the narrative.
Yeah.
That's right. So
That's why I came up here, man.
man,
to
I
kick it with
appreciate
man.
you for coming. You know,
Absolutely.
kicking it with your girl. You know, we go
Absolutely.
way back.
Absolutely,
It's like
man.
family. With
Yeah.
hey, they don't.
I'm
know
proud
that.
of your growth though. Like
I
I see
appreciate
you.
it.
Like I see you. I'm inspired by it for real. And other people that I know are inspired by it. I just show them your page and tell them what I know that you have accomplished. You know what I'm saying? And where you came from. Cause
But thank you.
I know a little bit. But just to reiterate those. I said those dancers, they weren't they my friends too. Like
Oh,
you know what
most
I'm saying?
definitely. We're not discrediting anybody
Cause I ain't up here like
or judging anybody. Hey, everybody
trying to-
walk their path.
Trying to degrade the woman and then like we were grinding. It was a mutual thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm all about upliftment of people in general. You know what I'm saying? So
For sure. Well, that's going to wrap up our segment.
that's what's
So
up.
I appreciate you for coming. I want all our viewers to be sure to go follow him.
Absolutely.
Go check out his video. It is available on YouTube. Share it. Tell a friend to tell a friend. And I want to remind you guys that we are on multiple platforms. So find a platform that works for you. We're on Google Play. We're on Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, iTunes, YouTube, Stitcher, Spreaker, Spotify, SoundCloud. And we're also on Facebook under Onney, the CEO. So find a platform that works for you. Like us, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. I love you guys. Keep it safe, keep it cute, and keep it quarantined. I'm your host, Onney the CEO, and you are outside the box.
Peace.